Hey guys, I get a lot of questions on what is the best resume build for law school. So in this video, I'm gonna unpack what I think the best type of resume or ideal resume is when you are applying to law school. And if you are an undergrad or high school, or you're generally pre-law, what you should be thinking about and what you should target if you wanna get into the best law school possible. A couple of things I want you to understand off the bat. First, there's no such thing as a perfect resume going into law school. People want to go to law school and come from all sorts of different backgrounds. Educationally, socially, professionally, really doesn't matter. And admissions offices actually like diversity. Second thing, your resume is a package. You want your resume to reflect your story. When you apply to law school, you're gonna write a personal statement, you're gonna have letters of recommendations, you're gonna have work experience and things on your resume. It should all go together. What's more important than getting the best experience at the White House or a top law firm, right? Whatever, is that your narrative makes sense for the admissions office when they're reviewing it. So even if you are a really avid gamer, right? And you're really active in the Twitch community and on TikTok and you're a content creator, show that you are focused, right? And try your best to sell that story when you apply, because a good story is what the admissions offices are going to look at, aside from, of course, statistics and the GPA and the LSAT. But let's say we don't care, and our goal is to go to law school, and we're kind of interested in whatever. That's kind of how I was. What do? Let's discuss the main types of work experience and internships that you should target if you want to get into law school. Okay, number one, this is a doozy: law. All right, if you can work at a law firm, if you can work as a law clerk, if you can do legal research under a law professor, anything in the field of law, it's not just gonna be good for you to get that experience and show the admissions offices, hey, I actually enjoy law. It's gonna be good for you. It's gonna be good for you to understand and see, what is it that lawyers do? Do I like the work? Maybe learn a little bit about litigation or transactional work as it may be, and figure out what kind of law at a very, very high level interests you the most. How do you get them? I would tell you to start small. Law firms are stuck in the past. Going after smaller law firms, generally speaking, will give you more flexibility, and they have more flexibility in taking on younger and sort of less experienced folks to work with them. Also, paid internships in general, especially in law, are good, and I think law schools will look favorably on paid positions relative to unpaid, but it's not necessary. As long as you're doing something with your time, a legal position included, even if it's unpaid, that's solid. Number two, research positions. Do you know what a lot of the work that lawyers do is composed of? If you guessed research, you're right. Yes, yes, yes. In law, you have a lot of research. Because of that, admissions offices like research. And let me tell you guys a dirty little secret. Research positions with professors in your undergraduate years are not that difficult to come by, so long as you put out feelers with professors, put yourself out there and apply to them. But especially in the soft sciences like political science, legal studies, economics, you can find a lot of really good opportunities to work directly with professors and get that nice and shiny research assistant position, not just over the summers, but also during your fall and spring semesters or quarters, as it were. That's what I did to build my resume up during the actual school year when I didn't have as much time to do internships. How do you get these? Well, every university is different. Some universities like mine at Berkeley had a sort of consolidated list of all the positions. At other schools, I have mentees who have told me that you kind of have to go out on your own and email the professors on your own volition and ask them, do you have any need and can I help you? It's not the best system, right? And every school is different, but look into it and see what you can come up with, because a lot of the times you'll get a position that is really gonna look good for your resume, and it's not that much work, a couple hours a week, and it's usually busy work. Next, you have the policy arena. And in the policy arena, I'm including politics, nonprofits, NGOs, academia to some extent, but I'm mainly thinking here of internships with politicians. The good thing about internships with politicians is you're gonna get direct access and line into the world of policymaking, which is actually a lot of what lawyers do. 70% or so of Congress are made up of lawyers, and many politicians come from the practice of law or went to law school, so it's very much intertwined with the legal profession. And these internships are usually unpaid, okay? Some are paid on Washington, D.C. and on the actual Hill, and if you can get one of those, awesome. But if you can't, look, intern for your local city council person. Go talk to the local person who regulates your water management. Like, there's a ton of opportunity out there in local government, state, and federal, all three, if you want to work, if you're willing to work, and if you reach out and put yourself out there to get that experience. Law schools like these internships because they understand them. They tend to be pretty common for pre-law applicants, and it's a good experience. How do you get them? Go online, apply online, right? Most of the stuff is online. If you know somebody, even better. Some of these older institutions may require you to do something like a paper application, especially if it's like the water department or something, but do what needs to be done. Go out there and get them. Okay, now let's talk about non-legal or policy internships. Things outside of the field of law. Is that worth your time? Should you even explore it at all? Let's say you get an internship at Blizzard, the gaming company, for marketing. It has nothing to do with law necessarily, but it sounds super fun. Should you do it? In classic lawyer fashion here, my answer is gonna be, it depends. It depends mainly on two things. First, do you want it? If you want it and it's fun, go for it. You should always be doing what you like and what's fun. The experience is gonna look good no matter what, and you can probably spin the story any way that suits your application when that time comes, right? But if you don't care, The second factor I'd look at is how prestigious is the internship. I think law admissions offices can kind of tell when internships are more or less competitive. And of course, if it's a little bit more competitive, you should probably err on the side of doing that experience and that internship. And while we're on the topic of non-legal business government internships, understand that any internship over the summer, be it in marketing or let's say you're a computer science major or you're in physics, whatever it is, if it's on niche in your industry, it's a good experience. Don't feel pressured or the need to go into government law or policy. If you are a computer science major and you think you'd be better off going to Google for the summer, even though you want to attend law school, go to Google. Law admissions offices are smart enough to give credit where credit is due with good internship experience, period. So honestly, the short version of all of this side of the internship discussion we just had, and we're going to talk about leadership in a second here, do them if you can. Right? Get work experience and as much of it as you can. Get as many internship experiences as you can handle along with research. Do not overload yourself and make sure that your GPA and your LSAT, those two are more important than anything else. So never sacrifice those two components for the ones we're talking about today. But do as many of them as you can. Don't be afraid to do things outside of the field of law, outside of government, outside of policy. Get that experience. And one last thing here. A lot of folks do take time off between undergrad and law school. I think the average is around 70% of folks who are matriculating to law school spent 1 to 2, if not more, years in the workforce. The question arises, what should you do with that time off if you want to take time off between undergrad and law school? And the answer is very similar to what I just said. It's do something with your time, but there's no right answer here. I had friends who were coders. I had friends who just hiked around the world and traveled. I had friends who did nothing, sat on the couch and literally did nothing and ended up at the top law schools like everybody else, right? So do something with your time. Try to be thoughtful with it. Make it intentional. If you want to explore law, be a paralegal. If you don't care to explore law right now and you want to do something else, go do something else. If you just want to take some time off and chill, take some time off and chill. It's really up to you. But know that the more work experience you have in general, the more competitive work experience you have, more specifically in general, that will help you in the application process. Okay, so we talked about work experience. Let's put all that aside. There's one other component of your resume that I want to touch on because really the resume is going to have your grades, the LSAT, your hobbies. That's all fine. I assume you're going to have hobbies. I can't help you there. Hobbies, I'm still figuring mine out, all right? So you're on your own for that one. But leadership experience, clubs, pre-law fraternities, general social clubs, how important are they? Should you do them? Let's talk about it. My rule of thumb with extracurricular clubs, be them pre-law or business or fraternities, social clubs, do not sacrifice work experience for these leadership experiences, okay? These leadership experiences are the cherry on top. Nothing more, nothing less. When I was an undergrad, I really didn't do many of these at all. I was a dance team leader to the extent I was a leader, but that was the last semester of college and I had already applied to law school. Instead, I put my time into the research positions, into the internships over the summer, into getting good grades, and I think that really paid off. So I see folks who invest hundreds of hours into these pre-law fraternities and these extracurricular organizations, and honestly, I think it's better than nothing. So if your alternatives are not working at all, right, and just watching TV or doing these clubs, then by all means, but try to get that work experience first. And if you are gonna go for leadership positions in these organizations, and again, there's no right or wrong answer here, go to the pre-law one, go to the business one, go do a social frat, whatever, that's fine. Make sure whatever role that you take on, be innovative, change something, lead something. Do something that you can tell a story about later. Because when you're writing that personal statement, when you're writing up that resume, when admissions offices think about what did you do as treasurer of Delta Chi, that's probably a sorority. In any event, what did you do with your time? You should have a good answer. And the way you're gonna have a good answer is by putting a lot of thought and energy into that experience itself. And really, guys, that's all there is to it. Law school and the resume building process for law school really comes down to getting as much good experience as you can in as little amount of time as you possibly can. Using that formula, I got into NYU School of Law in my third year of college, and I eventually transferred to Harvard, as you guys all know, and I was also accepted into Stanford. So it works. And admissions offices love to see that work experience. Do not underestimate it. With that, I will leave you to it. But before I let you go, please, please, please smash that sub button, smash that like button, leave us a comment, let us know what you're working on in your pre-law career and what you want to see more of from us. Thank you very much from our team, myself, Chris, the whole squad in our community. Really appreciate you swinging by, and take care.